This girl has a special ability. No matter what she writes on her exams, the teacher always gives her a perfect score. The reason for this is simply that whatever Ellie writes on her exams comes true. The exam asked who the current Prime Minister of Japan is. Ellie didn't know the answer. She thought about it for a long time, but still couldn't figure it out. So she just wrote down the name of the classmate sitting next to her, and that was that. The next question asked who the US President was. Ellie didn't even know her own country's Prime Minister. She found it pointless and simply left it blank. Then she rested her head on the desk and fell asleep, sleeping straight through until school let out. Back home, Ellie was idly scrolling through her phone. Suddenly, she saw a shocking news headline. The classmate sitting next to her had actually become the new Prime Minister, and because she hadn't written the name of the US President, the next day the White House announced that the president had suddenly gone missing. Looking at the exam paper in her hand, which had been graded as perfect, Ellie began to panic. She immediately grabbed her phone and changed the answers one by one. Once the changes were made, that classmate turned back into an ordinary person. Ellie thought everything had returned to normal. She went up to the rooftop, but she saw the Tokyo Tower shaking violently. News reports kept warning of abnormalities. Only then did Ellie realize the problem lay in that morning's math exam. She and her friend hurriedly dug out the test papers. That's when they discovered she had written the value of pi as 25 centimeters. Ellie quickly recalculated and corrected it. When she looked up, the Tokyo Tower had returned to normal. The two of them were so exhausted they collapsed onto the ground. While resting, Ellie recalled a strange experience from a few days earlier. On their way to school that day, they noticed a new tunnel had appeared in the thicket they often passed. Out of curiosity, they walked inside. To their surprise, there was a shrine where one could make a wish. Ellie wasn't doing well in school. Without hesitation, she dropped in 500 yen to make a wish, and it was precisely this wish that gave her exam papers the power to alter reality. The two returned to the grove once more, but they found that the tunnel had vanished. Ellie instantly broke down because this meant she could no longer rely on luck. She had no choice but to study hard. Otherwise, she would ruin the entire world with her writing.